With the farm go. Hello.
Hi, I was just talking about how spicy Minecraft looks nowadays.
I thought you were gonna talk about how spicy I was looking nowadays.
I mean, you're looking pretty spicy.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
You mean general or our Minecraft, which you can find in the Discord below?
I mean both. I was looking at the new world generation, and it looks like really crazy.
Yeah, like the update.
Yeah, where it like looks like actual terrain now. It's actually like pretty nuts.
Yeah, I'm scared.
I'm scared. Well, did you like? Welcome to the Minecraft minute in ruining movies. Did you see now that monsters in 1.18 are only gonna spawn in light level 0?
Interesting.
So like you only really need to use like one torch for like 300 blocks.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Also, kind of not awesome.
Right.
Well,
I don't know how I feel about that.
Easier, harder. I don't know. Now's not time to discuss this.
Exactly. Well, this isn't a Minecraft podcast. This is a movie podcast. But yeah, hi. How's it going? It's another podcast we're recording where it's about to storm any minute now.
Yeah. So
warning that we've
full disclosure.
had climate change. Everyone, it's happening.
Yeah. Take a swig of my drink.
This is the third podcast we've recorded in a row where we've had to put at the top of the episode warning that if we did just stop talking, it's because a storm has knocked our power out.
Yeah. Well, it's the Midwest these days, I guess.
It really is. It's like my dog's actually like depressed because I haven't been able to take him for a walk in the last like week. Because every time I go outside, it's like about to storm, and I'm like, well, I can't go because we're gonna get to the end of the block and it's gonna start storming.
Or Sparks.
Yeah. He's dog pressed right now.
Rough.
Yeah, he's rough. It's rough.
What's in the mug? Bitcoins.
Bitcoins. Just drinking virtual currency over there. Nice. Yeah. Nice. All right. Well. Let's yeah. Well, I was gonna say let's get things started, but unless you have something else, any more playful banter.
I was just gonna say, here's the multi-Twitch if anyone wants to see both of us.
Yes, go do that. I will also post that in my Twitch chat right now. Use the multi-link, everyone. You can see both of our pretty faces at the same time. Hear our voice. You can hear our voices 4 times too if you are brave enough to have both of our audios on.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah, I believe in you. Oh, the good old 18+ warning on both of our streams. There we go. I don't even know where I was going to go. I hope you guys like Zack Snyder because we're about to talk about him a lot tonight.
We are?
Oh, for the news we are. But let's introduce the podcast first. Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome for the first time if you're new here. This is Ruining Movies, a live podcast that debuts. Is debut the right word? Is broadcasted live at 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. It's a podcast in which we talk about a movie of the week. This week we are talking about the French film Jetee. I made that sound like Spanish. We're talking about that film, and then with the help La Jetee, with the help of you wonderful audience at the end of the episode, we ruin that movie by rewriting it by making it a prequel, sequel, or a remake, and then changing it to the genre of your choice. You can vote on that about either a day or the same day. If you join our Discord, you'll be able to vote on future episodes. And if you're here right now, you can go vote for the end of the episode now. But before we get into ruining that film, La Jetee, we have some things to talk about. We gotta talk about what we've been watching, and we gotta talk about the news. So Shane, chat. Oh, also we're the host. I'm Zach. That's Shane.
That's me. I'm Shane. Hi, everyone.
We know this is only the 16th episode. We've only done this 16 times. Hi. Hi, Shane. Hi, chat. Hi. What have you guys been watching? God damn it.
I finished season 2 of Black Summer.
Nice. How's that going? How'd that go?
I finished it. It was awesome. It was worth it. I would recommend it.
Hell yeah.
For anyone that's interested in some character-driven zombie shows.
I do like some character-driven character-driven zombies is what we're all about here.
Yeah.
On Ruining Movies.
It's pretty solid. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that.
Okay. Have you been watching anything else?
Not particularly. I'm trying to think if there
Okay.
was any movies I watched. I did watch a foreign movie. It was like a Russian movie, but I can't remember anything about
Oh,
it.
nice. Was it Black Widow?
No, no,
Okay.
that'd be an excellent plug though. I didn't watch that. Did you?
No, I didn't. I'll watch it in 3 months when it's on Disney Plus. Not for
That's what
30
I'm
bucks.
saying.
Uh,
$30
$30, which
for
is like,
everyone here. Like my every every theater experience I've had, a ticket's never cost me more than like $10, even at the most
I
expensive.
was gonna say, I always get popcorn and a drink, so it's usually running me around twenty
Just the
dollars, but
ticket, I mean.
that's still like $10 like cheaper than
I just mean for the ticket. Like I've never
right.
paid more than $10 for strictly a ticket because like I'm the guy that brings like a water bottle and like pockets full of snacks.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
like I'm the same way at home, right? Like I already have food at home. So
Right.
in theory, let's say I pay the maximum cost for a movie ticket, $10. There's two people gonna watch this movie. So it's $20. That is still $10 cheaper to
I
just go and watch the movie.
I think the only time I would ever watch like pay $30 for a streaming like service to watch it at home is like if I could get like a bunch of friends together and like we all pitched in like $3.
Yeah, or maybe if you had asked me like I don't know, like 14 months ago,
Right.
like
Yeah, that's fair.
then
Uh
maybe I would have been down. But now it's way overpriced, and I can just
yeah.
wait a few months.
Right. I mean, I've already been spoiled by everything in Black Widow, and right now I'm just like, okay, I don't care. Um.
I haven't been,
All
so
right. Well,
don't.
you're not. So you don't know that Thanos is back.
He's back.
He's back somehow. Um. Yeah. Nice. Have you watched Fear Street Part 1 or Part 2 yet?
No, I'm
Okay.
sorry. At this point, I might as well just wait until the
Yeah,
third
you
one
should
comes out
just
and
wait
watch
for
all
the third
three.
one. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So Black Summer. Recommend. Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did watch Loki. But we'll
Nice.
get
Yeah,
to that.
we'll talk to that about that at the end of the news segment. Yeah. So I guess
New
we'll the
segment, the
news segment.
Loki segment.
Loki. Yeah, the Loki segment. So what have I been watching? Oh, I'm still watching Supernatural. My God, I like keep feeling like I'm getting near the end. That I remember this is like the one piece of fucking television where it goes on for 15 seasons. I'm on
Yes.
season 6 right now, and I gotta say they've literally just gone off the rails with their
Mm-hmm.
with the show, and I'm loving it. Last episode I watched was the boys, the Winchesters,
The
coming,
boy.
the Winchesters coming into like the real world, and like they switched place with the like actors, so like Jensen and Garrett, like the actual like people in real life, and then like. But like Winchesters were here and they had to act, and it was like just such a ridiculous episode, but it was so fun. It's weird. Most time shows I feel like don't get better when you like a season 6 or 7. I think Supernatural's like at its prime right now, just being as stupid and ridiculous as possible right now. They fought a dragon like 2 episodes ago. I'm here for it.
It's got like a solid soundtrack too, and there's some funny
Yeah,
stuff with the music
that's
that
the
they do.
that's the thing. Like
It's clever.
I keep forgetting that this was like a CW show. I think like.
Hmm.
But like they have like hits, like they play like Bowie and stuff, and it's like, how are you
Yeah,
guys affording this?
Boston.
Yeah, like they're like actual like not generic songs that you just pick off of like YouTube, the YouTube music
Yeah,
library. Like these are like legit like top of the charts
can't even
songs.
listen to them on YouTube.
Exactly. I just the last episode ended with Celine Dion, so it's like what the fuck?
Okay,
Yeah, that whole
that's
episode
not
was
what I
about.
meant when I said that it was a banger of a soundtrack. But
I mean, I don't like
yeah,
Titanic, but Celine Dion is a banger.
no,
There's some
not
bangers
talking
on there.
any shit about Celine Dion, but that's not
She's
exactly who I was
the
talking
greatest
about.
Canadian musician of all time. How dare you? Um, what
Of
else?
all time,
Okay, I mean, I guess
clip it.
Rush.
Somebody
Rush
clip
could.
it.
I'm trying to think of who else is like a good like Canadian musician. Well, we have a lot of Canadian fans and friends, so they're
Yeah,
probably gonna yell at me. I mean,
and
Celine's up there.
there's a lot of good Canadian musicians.
Like Rush, obviously. I like Rush.
Googling.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast where we get derailed. Arcade Fire, I like. Okay.
Alexis on Fire's from there as well.
Nickelback.
Devin Townsend, he's cool.
Loverboy.
Deadmau5.
You know,
Neil Young, hello.
Tokyo Police Club. Okay.
Oh, Chad, whatever from Nickelback. Chad Kroger.
I said Nickelback. All right. Well, you know what? I still think I'm gonna stay by that statement. I think Celine Dion's still the best. I don't know
Sarah
what she's
McLachlan?
done. I like Celine better. All right.
Alanis Morissette.
Oh,
you can't change my mind. You cannot change my mind now. You had me on the ropes. Not anymore. I'm still a Celine fan, but I'm way more of an Alanis fan.
That's fair. That's totally fair. All right,
I didn't know she was Canadian. Good for her.
Good for her being Canadian. What else have I been watching? Oh, the second season of I Think You Should Leave, which everyone should be watching, came out, and I watched that all in one night. It's so fucking funny. Have you watched any of the skits I've posted in the Discord? Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm a real bad friend.
You suck. I'm kidding. I know Tevasaur has also watched it and is a big fan of it. Honestly, anyone who is a fan of absurdist humor or like really like Eric Andre's show or just like skits in general, like I highly recommend I Think You Should Leave. It's on season 2 right now. Season 2 just came out, and it's honestly, I think, the funniest thing on Netflix. It's so good. The episodes are about like 20 minutes. Like I said, I watched the entire second season, all like 7 or 8 episodes in like one night. And it's just so good. It's strange humor. This isn't like a show like I could honestly say like everyone can watch and they would think it's the funniest thing ever. And because it is really like weird, absurd, like Eric Andre style humor where it's just like normal situations, but it's like really anxious and just really weird and just it's really good. I highly recommend it.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. I also watched Fear Part 2. Fear Street Part 2.
Have you ever seen Fear, starring Mark Wahlberg?
The game? I know.
No.
There's the Fear games. I've not seen that. I've not seen it.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah. But anyway, Fear Street Part 2 came out. Still liking the series. Still liking it. I think I'd probably say Part 1 and Part 2 are probably even for me. Part 2 obviously was more of a it was a camp slasher, so that's your Friday the 13th, a sleepaway camp, all those type of slashers. It got gory though. I will say the amount of kills in the Part 2 are fucking nuts. It's goddamn slaughterhouse, which I was surprised. Like it really gets bloody in the second part, which I'm here for. So Part 3 is going to be interesting because you don't really have colonial slasher films, so it'll be interesting. Which I thought like immediately after that, like why don't we have colonial slasher films? Like that sounds like a crazy cool genre. If you know of any like crazy historical slashers, let me know because I can't really think of any. Like, has there ever been like a Jack the Ripper slasher film or anything?
I don't know.
I know like Leprechaun like 3 was back in the day Ireland.
Oh, you might like The Irregulars. That was that show that came out on Netflix. It was kind of Sherlock Holmes style, like in the same time frame as Sherlock Holmes, and it was very slashery.
Okay.
But also, I don't know. Maybe not.
Like I don't know. Like give me a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but like in like 1860 when the chainsaw was invented.
Oh yeah, that's
I don't know.
Awesome.
I don't know when the chainsaw was invented, but I'm gonna guess it's sometime around there. But yeah, give me some like old school like slashers. I kind of get like why they don't make old school ones because it's kind of like slashers are kind of about like the fear of like it can happen to you in real life, and like if you see like a bunch of like Quakers wearing like the Puritan style garb getting slashed up. You're
Yeah.
like, ah,
Oh,
okay.
that movie. Oh my gosh. What the frick? Now I'm not going to be able to think of it after I've recommended it so many times. Ah, it's on Netflix. Man goes
Okay.
to island. Island is old timey.
Oh, it's not the Ritual. It has
That
the
was the first thing that came to my head. That's so
it's
funny.
but it's also a pretty good Netflix horror film. I've seen it. I know what you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about. Which anyway,
Yeah, yeah,
if you
yeah.
guys haven't seen the Ritual on Netflix, like that's actually like a really
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
solid horror film on Netflix. Oh my god, now that's gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah,
I know
I'm going to Netflix.
yeah, let's
Gonna
Netflix
suss it
horror
out.
films. Welcome to the podcast where we Google everything. Um
It's
Netflix made horror films. Because it was made for Netflix, right?
yeah, it's a Netflix original.
Let's see. Gerald's Game was a really good horror film too, but it's really fucked up. I can't really recommend it. Apostle.
Yes, that is what
Yeah,
it is called.
it's kind of like Wicker Man.
Yeah, that movie was kind of like old timey.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a slasher though. But
Hey, I found that movie, the Russian movie. It's called that I watched like almost all of. It's called Major Grom, Plague Doctor.
interesting. That's an interesting name.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, I guess. Cop goes super cop in
In
Russian.
Russia, nice. Hell yeah.
It
Hell yeah.
was pretty solid.
Yeah. Said I was gonna watch 12 Monkeys, but I didn't. I didn't have time.
Me too.
I've
Me
seen
too.
it. Brad Pitt acts like a crazy person in an asylum. It's pretty much the same as Jetee, except it's an action film. And there's a TV series. We'll talk about that when we get into the movie of the week. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been watching. I can't really think of anything else. It's just Supernatural. Think You Should Leave. Fear Street Part 2 and 3. Loki, obviously. Being 1 and 2. Which exciting week this week. We get the finale to Loki tonight, tomorrow morning. Still weird ass day to release Marvel.
Tomorrow evening, if you're me on a normal sleep schedule.
Yeah, and if you're not me, who's gonna be still up at 3 a.m. when it releases. And then Friday we're getting the last part 3 of Fear Street. So big week for streaming media.
Also, I believe Disney's What If comes out soon.
I think that doesn't come out till next month, but I could be wrong. We're actually gonna talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
But yeah, let's jump into the news. So like I said, we got some Zack Snyder news to talk about, and I didn't even pick these two out of like on purpose. They're just like the two most talked about things right now in the movies, other than like the Emmys, which I don't care about. So yeah. If you want to pull that up, I'm gonna say this up front, as always. When we talk about Zack Snyder, I'm not I don't dislike him as a human being. I don't know him as a human being, but my god, the movie choices are gonna drive me crazy. So let's start with this first article that I pulled up, which is Zack Snyder to direct Netflix movie inspired by Akira Kurosawa and Star Wars. First of all, I have a problem with that fucking title.
And quote Star Wars.
And quote Star Wars. Star Wars. It's saying he's directing a film inspired by Akira Kurosawa and Star Wars is redundant. Star Wars is inspired by Akira Kurosawa 100%. We wouldn't have Star Wars without Seven Samurai. So easy. But anyway, this article, this news that's coming out is Zack Snyder is making a movie for Netflix called Rebel Moon, which is inspired by Star Wars. A little bit of history, since I did some digging on this, is Zack Snyder pitched this movie to Star Wars, to Disney, and they shut him down. So this is a movie written for the Star Wars universe.
Okay.
Star Wars and Disney said no, so he took it to Netflix, and he's changed the name to Rebel Moon.
This is just a modern day Spaceballs.
I don't think Zack Snyder's films are that funny.
And I don't think Mel Brooks went to Lucasfilms with an idea about Star Wars and got denied. But I'm just saying, it's like this movie feels like that, you know? It's like I wouldn't be surprised if the main character of his story was called like Lone Star.
Right, exactly. Like, what is going on here? So my first question is, what did Zack Snyder write that Disney and Star Wars said no to, seeing that they're really expanding their universe right now? I honestly feel like a Zack Snyder Star Wars film would be a big hit for them because of first of all, Zack Snyder's fan base and I would say small majority of like Star Wars fans kind of being rabid. I feel like there's a little bit of a crossover. No offense if you're a fan of either of them, but I feel like there's kind of a crossover there. Like I think a Zack Snyder Star Wars film would be like a big thing for people in Star Wars. So what did he write that they said no to him?
Rebel Moon.
Yeah, what do you think is this movie is going to be about? So he's saying that he's deeply inspired by Akira Kurosawa. For anyone who doesn't know who Akira Kurosawa is, he is one of the most prolific. I can't say words. He's one of the most important filmmakers of all time. Easy as said. We talked about Stanley Kubrick last week about being one of the most important filmmakers of all time. Akira Kurosawa, same level as Stanley Kubrick. He created Rashomon, Seven Samurai, Dreams. I think Tokyo Story was his. Anyway, amazing filmmaker. Seven Samurai is said to have, well, not even just said, like George Lucas literally said Seven Samurai inspired him to make Star Wars. Seven Samurai is also kind of the reason why we have all these crazy action blockbusters, because Seven Samurai was kind of the first ever like team up movie to save the town. I mean, I guess you have westerns, but even Seven Samurai inspired a lot of westerns.
The Magnificent Seven.
Exactly. Like, yeah, exactly. Like,
I don't know which came out first. I'm just saying things because that sounded like the same idea because they come together to save a town.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Seven Samurai comes first. Yeah, 1960 is Magnificent Seven. Seven Samurai is in the 50s. So, Like I said, Seven Samurai is one of the most important films for like modern Hollywood, and Akira Kurosawa is equally one of the most important filmmakers. So I just don't know what this film's going to be about. It's called Rebel Moon. A team
coming together to take over, to win back the planet.
Yeah. I mean, it probably is going to be
a Rebel Moon.
A rebel. Oh my god! Now that
they're going to turn it into a Rebel Moon.
So news broke. I'm going to just read this part of the article. News broke in 2013 that Snyder was developing a Kurosawa-inspired Star Wars film that would have been, again, redundant. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep saying that. Star Wars is literally inspired by Akira Kurosawa. You don't have to say Akira Kurosawa-inspired Star Wars films. They're all inspired by his films. That would have been loosely inspired by the classic 1954 and Seven Samurai. Again, that is what Star Wars is. Where Jedi Knights and lightsabers would be used instead of Ronin and samurai swords. Though the project never came to fruition, Snyder is moving forward with its core story and themes for Rebel Moon, albeit without thank you God, I cannot read today. Albeit without any Star Wars connections. So he's going to make a fucking Star Wars film.
Spaceballs.
Yeah, but the thing is, Spaceballs, I still had a connection to Star Wars. He sounds like he's making it. Well, they were spoofing Star Wars directly.
Right.
And they like still reference like Jedis and lightsabers. If you're making a movie that you've been writing where it's like Jedi Knights instead of samurai swords, and you can't use the word Jedi Knights or lightsabers and you still have them in it, what is it?
Yeah, but like in Spaceballs, it wasn't the Force. It was
the Farce.
Yeah. But so again, in this, it'll be like the Foos. I mean, they're using the Foos and their laser swords.
I could see Zack Snyder unironically doing that. Now that you say that, it's not going to be the Force. It's going to be like the Push.
The Jetee charge in with their laser swords and use their Foos pushes.
God damn it. I will have to say, what better place for a Zack Snyder film to take place than the moon where there's no color already? So that was the first part of Zack Snyder news we got. Again, nothing personal to Zack Snyder himself. I just don't know why people keep giving him so much money to make these movies.
Nothing personal. Please do not see the previous 15 podcasts.
Yeah, again, Zack Snyder, I heard, is a pretty good dude. I just don't understand why everyone keeps... Like, he can keep making films, just why is every studio ever just giving him unlimited money to make these films?
Yeah, everyone's, like, all about it. I don't know.
So let's move forward to an even stupider thing that is happening. Netflix reveals first look images of Army of the Dead prequel.
Stop.
So, first of all, you think of Army of the Dead prequel. Oh, maybe we're gonna learn about where the zombies come from. You'd be wrong. This Army of the Dead prequel is instead going to be called Army of Thieves, and it's going to follow around the German guy from the first film as he goes and robs vaults in Europe.
Okay.
Why is this a prequel to Army of the Dead? Army of the Dead, the only thing it had going for it was the zombies.
And this guy, who died.
Yeah.
So, like, in this movie, I know he's not gonna die.
Right, so yeah, you take away that feeling of suspense. We also know he gets away scot-free. He's not in jail or anything in Army of the Dead.
Right.
But, like, it's so crazy that Army of the Dead came out with this idea that, like, zombies in Vegas, which was the idea that everyone liked. We even talked about Army of the Dead, like, 3-4 episodes ago in depth about it, because we both watched it and kind of our thoughts on it. And we kind of both came out of there with, like, the zombies were the most interesting part. The cast didn't really have any chemistry. The dialogue was awful. The characters also felt so bland. So there's a prequel to that where they're removing the zombies and focusing on the characters that we don't care about.
It's only one character that we don't care about, and now they're gonna give us a bunch of new characters to not care about.
Yeah. So this is the synopsis. In the prequel to Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, small-town bank teller Dieter gets drawn into the adventure of a lifetime when a mysterious woman recruits him to join a crew of Interpol's most wanted criminals, attempting to heist a sequence of legendary impossible-to-crack safes across Europe.
I just don't know why I should care.
I just don't know why is this even connected to Army of the Dead?
Like, why should I care? This dude is going to die after this movie. Like,
exactly.
100%. So, like, I already knew he was a good bank safe guy. Like, now I have to see about his ventures. Like, there's not even any zombies in this.
Right, exactly. There's no zombies. Okay, this is my theory. This is okay. Now that I'm like looking at these images a little bit more, this is my theory for Army of the Thieves. They're robbing a bunch of banks that look like Tomb Raider style vaults. Like they all have like, I'm pretty sure that one has the Star of David on it.
You're right.
And like that one has like the Celtic knot on it, and like a bunch of like legendary things. They're going to find something mystical, and that's going to be the thing that creates the zombies. And that's going to be the connection. I still think it'll suck.
Get it on camera. It's here.
Yeah, it's...
Okay, so let me just say, I just don't care about this movie. Also, I foresee a bunch of other Army of the Blanks coming in, right? So, like, let's just pick I'm just going to pick a character off of here. Let's say the guy on the far right with his arms crossed in the beard.
Yeah. You know who he kind of looks like if you scroll down to, like, attachment Army of the Thieves to the last photo? He kind of looks like, Hugh Jackman.
He kind of does. Yeah. And I notice that he's in most of these pictures. So, like, you know, let's just assume that, I don't know, he dies in this movie.
Right.
Okay. In the next movie, are we going to learn about, like,
Army
of the insert this guy's backstory here?
So and keep going back.
Yeah, we'll just continue going back and back until, you know, we run out of characters to kill off.
Yeah, it's I've seen that actor who plays Dieter before, and he is funny, but like I don't think like we saw even Dave Bautista couldn't carry Army of the Dead, and Dave Bautista's like hot right now. Like he's one of the people put him in everything, and he does well.
Yep.
I don't know. It also says in the same paragraph that Zack Snyder's also working on the other prequel, Army of the Dead Lost Vegas. Lost Vegas. L-O-S-T Vegas. All right.
I just don't know what I'm supposed to say. It's I don't want to like sit here and just bash on Zack Snyder forever. It's just I'm not interested in this like universe that you're building.
Exactly. And it's not like, again, nothing against Zack Snyder. I just don't understand like what is going on where these studios, Netflix is investing so much into this.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know like the amount of money that they're investing into this, but like it's the same with we talked about James Cameron and the Avatar sequels.
Yeah, big risk here.
Yeah, like why are these studios just like being like, here, have all this money and make all these films, like we don't even know if the first one's good. Like,
right.
Just use that money to make other things.
Yeah, and it's like the path that they're on is just like bananas.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I just can't really think of another franchise that's taking this kind of approach. I mean, Fear Street is doing the going backwards thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's even remotely close to this. I have no frame of reference.
Yeah, I think they're all connected that way. I mean, I guess Army of Thieves and Army of Dead will be like connected, but like it just seems like Zack Snyder wanted to tell like his Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Even though that's what Army of the Dead was. Whatever. Let's get past this. Let's move on to some like actually happy, better news. Let's move on to Venom 2. So,
woo!
Yeah, Tom Hardy, I almost called him Tom. Tom Hardy earns his first writer's credits for his contribution to Venom 2. So what that means for anyone who doesn't really understand what the writer's credit thing means and like how you get it is usually actors and actresses don't really get writer's credits. It's usually left for the screenwriters, sometimes the director, sometimes producers. It's usually someone who actually goes into the script and then affects it a lot. It's not just like, oh, ad-libbing your lines or changing a couple lines. It's like actually contributing to how the story was written. And this article is actually really cool to read. We've talked about before on this podcast how there are some actors like Dave Bautista, who we just talked about, who like really get into their roles and really want to make the things they're making. And Tom Hardy feels really connected to Venom. It even says the first sentence, he's married to Venom. Screenwriter Kelly Marcel says of the franchise's leading star. So anyway, this article just goes through how during the pandemic, Tom Hardy would spend like hours and hours on video calls with the writers talking about like what Venom would do and all that stuff, which he ended up earning a writer's credit for, which is really cool, which also gives me hope for the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
It just, I get more hype for a movie when I know an actor is like actually being earnestly like really is into the movie. And I'm not saying every actor has to be into the movie for it to be a good movie, but like, you know, passion projects usually always have something special to them. So this seems like a Tom Hardy's passion project. Should be sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited. I liked the first one a lot. I know it had some like mixed reviews, but I liked it a lot.
Right. I mean, that's what I've heard. I still haven't seen it, but I've like heard that in general is like a lot of people had fun with the first Venom.
Yeah, there were parts of it that I didn't jive with as much, but that's a great way to put it. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's totally fine. I mean, I'm probably going to actually watch the first Venom now, and because I kind of want to see Let There Be Carnage. The only thing that's kind of keeping me off from Let There Be Carnage is it's not rated R, but I mean, that's a stupid reason not to watch a film. So I'm going to watch it.
Okay.
So yeah, I thought that was cool. Tom Hardy, good job. Good job.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm a big Tom Hardy fan. Shout out Tom Hardy, come to our podcast.
Yeah,
big fan. So, and I like the movie, and good for him. That's exciting.
So let's go ahead. Still staying kind of in the Marvel universe. Kevin, is it Feige or Feige? I actually don't know how to say his name.
Feige.
Okay, Kevin Feige says Marvel actors are no longer locked into multi-movie contracts, which at first doesn't seem like a big deal. But I think that's a really big deal for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're so used to like Robert Downey Jr. getting like a 7-movie contract, or Tom Hiddleston not having to play, but like playing Loki for like a long period of time. Pretty much everyone who was in the original like Phase 1 and 2 like had these crazy long contracts, and that's kind of like what built the MCU up, is having all these reoccurring characters and actors and stuff jumping in and out, but knowing that they would come back. But there seems like they're changing that model now so that it's more like solo movie contracts, which makes me really interested in what is going to come with that. It could not really be anything. I could be looking at this and just like, I want to say overreacting, because I don't think I'm overreacting, but this could just be like some financing they're doing, or this could really be a big change in the MCU where we don't get these long drawn out stories they're trying to tell anymore, and we're getting more like solo projects. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think they're trying to do with this?
I think it's just a way to give people an out.
Yeah, I know. Cut off that real quick before you go forward. I know that Kevin Feige, I think, says somewhere in this article, or I read it in another article, that they kind of wanted to do this so they could try to get all their actors who didn't want to hold on to those like long contracts, which I understand. Like you grab one of those contracts, you're kind of doing that for the next couple years.
Yeah. And it's exhausting. I mean, like, it's a lot of work to stay in like tip top Thor and Captain America and
right, shape. Exactly. Yeah.
And they do that shit for, I mean, a long time. Obviously, I have no true frame of reference on how long it takes to like film a movie and everything, but it's strenuous. I know it's strenuous. I mean, just look at what Henry Cavill does to do what he does, dehydration and everything else.
Right,
it's crazy.
Which is it really is. Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like a way to offer an out for certain people. Like if they want to continue to play the role, it's probably there for them. It's not like if someone comes in and they just fucking nail it for the role of like Johnny Flame or something. Is that the guy from the Fantastic Four? Johnny Storm.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think his name is
Johnny Flame.
Yeah, I don't think he changed his last name once he got fire powers. It's Storm.
Johnny Storm, right? Somebody comes in, they just fucking nail it. They knock it out of the park. It's not like they're gonna have to like retry out for that role for the next 10 years, right? Like they've probably just got it in the bag.
Yeah.
But, maybe they want to hang up the tights or whatever after like 2 years instead of 10 years or something.
Definitely. And I think that's like exactly what they're going for here, is like Kevin Feige says, like to kind of get other actors and actresses to dip their toes into the MCU. This has the potential of like changing the MCU, I think.
I agree.
Which I don't know if it's good or bad. We still don't really know what's coming up with these new phases. We have no idea if they're trying to do the same thing with Infinity War, or even if it's a good idea to try to recapture what they did in Infinity War. Like,
right.
Maybe that's not even what they go for anymore, but who knows?
Right. The way that you just said that about them dipping their toes in the water just got me thinking a little bit. Like that makes sense though. Like if I'm an actor and I have the potential to score this big role, right? And I have one role with James Cameron's like Titanic, or I can be in like a 5 or 6 movie deal and like roll the dice on this quote unquote MCU.
Yeah.
As like Iron Man or something. And it's like, it could work, it might work, who knows, but it's like it's for sure 6 movies. 6 movies takes a long fucking time, as opposed to like this lump sum that I could get done in one go right now and not sign on for a long time contract. So like I could understand like an actor or an actress going in and being like, hesitant to want to sign on to a big deal like that. But if they were not obligated to jump on, like it makes it a lot more palatable to want to try to be a superhero.
Definitely. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Well, we could see bigger actors and actresses coming into the MCU with that. We could see like rotating characters in and out. We could see smaller stories being told. We really have to see how this pans out, because like obviously this isn't going to really affect the current phase because we've already had all those movies produced and everything.
Right.
But that could mean like the Eternals show up and like half the Eternals don't come back, or something like that, which could be interesting. Yeah, so let's move forward out of movies into television, and kind of talking the same superhero route. We're going to talk about Henry Cavill,
Oh
and
yeah.
The Witcher season 2 trailer. I still haven't watched the first season of The Witcher. I watched the first episode. Kind of felt like it wasn't really for me, so I think you can probably speak on this better than I can. The season 2 trailer. Have you had a chance to watch it?
I did.
Okay, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I liked season 1. I know a lot of people weren't in love with it, but I kind of liked it a lot.
Hell yeah.
So with this new trailer, it seems like they're gonna continue on a good path. I'm excited for what's to come. They're going to do some cool stuff. Looks like go to some places that are familiar to people that like the series and stuff. Also, I noticed that Netflix and CD Projekt Red had like a Witcher Con.
Yeah, they had something going on last week.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see them kind of working side by side and being involved even in the same like field together. I like that.
Wasn't the first season more based off the books than the game?
Yeah, for sure. But that's because like I mean, I don't know. I never played the first Witcher game, so maybe like the first Witcher game is way more closely related to what went on in the first season.
Right.
But I can't really speak on that. I know that the first season of the show is a lot more closely related to the source material, which is the books.
Right.
But CD Projekt Red also based their games off of the source material. So it's cool to see them kind of like participating in this thing kind of side by side. I would love to see like season 3 of The Witcher have some CD Projekt Red's like musical influence.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've only played a little bit of Witcher 3, but I mean, even from the little bit I've played from it, it's a great game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want the show to take all the same avenues as the game, obviously. Like, I want it to be its own thing.
Definitely.
But if they just use like one song, it'd be kind of neat to hear it pop up, because the music was just so like iconic in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I listened to the soundtrack of The Witcher, and I haven't even played it. I've only played a little bit of it, so
I've listened to it a bunch.
Yeah, the soundtrack is
really
great.
Good. It's really good. So I'm particularly excited, but I'm also super biased.
Right, so, exactly. That's why I wanted you to talk about it, because like I said, I didn't really like the first episode. I kind of figured out it wasn't really for me, but I know like a lot of people love it, so they really like this series. So
I heard some mixed reviews. I heard praise, and I heard bad reviews. So it's like,
yeah,
I can kind of see it from all sides, but I'm just when it comes to stuff like this, I'm a real sucker for just like what it is. Like, I'm gonna watch the Amazon Lord of the Rings show, and I'm gonna watch the Lord of the Rings anime, not because they're gonna be good or bad, but just because they're Lord of the Rings.
Definitely. I don't know. I have this weird thing where I like actually don't consume and don't watch that many that much fantasy style things. Like Lord of the Rings is really the only series that I've ever like really watched that is fantasy based.
Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of movies that I've enjoyed, but when it comes to shows and stuff, not too much.
Yeah, which is just strange to me because like a huge D&D fan here, huge like fantasy like audiobook and novel fan. I just could never connect to the movies. I don't know, but yeah, so The Witcher season 2, I know a lot of people are hyped for it. We'll see. Maybe I'll give it another try. I just remember really not liking how it was edited, which is such a petty thing to not like. But it kind of was driving me crazy. But I know a lot.
Luckily for the Witcher series, Henry Cavill is like a Tom Hardy.
Right. Yeah. Right? I mean,
he loves what he's doing with this. It is kind of like a passion project, so you can tell he's pumped for it.
Yeah,
and he's such a charmer. Henry Cavill, really come on our show with Tom Hardy, hang out.
And Conan O'Brien, we invited him last podcast. Everyone just join us. Everyone's free pass. Join us. Zack Snyder, join us. Yell at us.
Beat us up.
Beat us up, yeah. Come give your point of view on all these things. All right, so yeah, Witcher season 2. Going on to one of my guilty pleasure shows. American Horror Stories is coming out soon. Stories. For those who don't know, there's American Horror Story, which is on season like 10 or 11 now. I've seen every season. Like I said, guilty pleasure. I love the American Horror Story.
Every season?
I've seen every season. No, I don't love every season, I should say. There is American Horror Story. It always like starts really good and then ends up being really stupid, but I still watch every single season. It's guilty pleasure, like I said. But anyway, there's a new type of style of American Horror Story season coming out. This is weird. It's called American Horror Stories. And stories, unlike American Horror Story, if you're confused. But anyway, I think this is actually an interesting idea and a good idea because, like I said, as someone who has watched all the American Horror Story seasons, they usually start really strong and then end up really stupid. This new series, this is like I said, stories is every episode is its own story. So it's an anthology, but every episode is a different horror story.
I love anthologies, and I love that they're coming up more frequently.
Me too. So I think I actually have like actually high hopes for this season because I think I think it's a good idea. I mean, and I remember when American Horror Story first came out, it was like 2010, 2011. I just first of all remember all the commercials, and they were actually like creepy ass commercials for the first Murder House season 1,
which was all right in my opinion.
Season 1 was pretty good. Season 2 was really good.
I really like season 2. Everything really else good. I saw after that, I did not like.
Carnival was okay. The Coven, I know a lot of people hate it, but I liked it for some stupid reason. Apocalypse one, which was recent, was okay. They did like a slasher one, I think like 2 seasons ago. It was like 1984 or 1982 or something. That was actually
there
pretty
good. Cult one.
I didn't really like the cult one. There was the one that was the Hotel Cortez with the vampires and Lady Gaga that I actually quite liked. Like I said, guilty pleasure. They're all stupid, but I love them.
Look, so after season 2, I watched some of Coven, and I was like, I don't like this, and I just turned it off forever.
I will have to say Coven is kind of bad, but I still liked it for some reason. And then the next one is called American Horror Story Double Feature, which I think is interesting. It seems like the first half of the season is going to be about like the East Coast and water creatures, which could be like Lovecraftian or like mermaids. And like the second half is gonna be like aliens. So I mean, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Okay.
But anyway, this is coming out soon. I think it's actually coming out on Hulu like this month, or next month. And I'm quite excited for it. It has a lot of potential. It anthologies are always good. It's coming out on July 15th actually.
That's in 2 days.
That's in 2 days. Holy shit. Okay.
From the day of this recording.
So I'll see the first episode by then, and we'll know if it's good. But anyway, I think that's cool. I think it's going to be exciting. I know Danny Trejo is supposed to be in one of the episodes. So.
Man.
Hell yeah.
Why's everything releasing on weird days?
Yeah, what is the 15th? What is that?
That's like a Thursday.
Thursday. I think American Horror Story has always been released on Thursdays, which is weird. I don't know if that's like an FX thing.
Man, so you have a busy week of media this week. You got
Holy
Loki,
shit, I do.
Then Fear Street. But Fear Street, you said, comes out Friday, so I'll probably grind those out this weekend, maybe.
Yeah, it comes out on Friday at midnight. So
cool.
Yeah, I do. Good thing I don't really have much going on this week. Jesus. So yeah, tomorrow morning, Loki. Thursday, which if that's on Hulu, it probably won't come out till Friday, so I'll probably watch that and Fear Street Part 3 over the weekend, and then we'll talk about them next week.
Nice.
Let's move on to another anthology. We love anthologies, ladies and gentlemen.
We sure
do love anthologies, and that's not even sarcastic. I love me an anthology. Shane loves himself an anthology, and we got Marvel's anthology coming up, the What If series, which we got the trailer for. Well, another trailer. I think there was a trailer already.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch this one. I watched the first one, though.
It's good. I will have to say, it doesn't, like, it shows off more of like what's going to happen in each story and kind of the animation style. I will have to say, not the biggest fan of the animation style.
Yeah.
I think it will have to grow on me. I think the series is pretty interesting. We have like the first part is like showing like what if Killmonger saved Tony
Mm-hmm.
Stark, which is interesting. I know it's like what if Spider-Man became Doctor Strange. We have T'Challa as in the Guardians of the Galaxy. We have Peggy Carter as Captain Britain. We
Yeah,
have Marvel Zombies.
and this might be a stretch, but I think that this is partly to do with the multiverse of madness. Not like
I kind of hope
not
so. I hope so.
not wholly, but to kind of like paint a picture, right? It's like
Or open up the idea to it for people.
right, and now this kind of like makes it palatable. The whole like because the TVA idea and what was going on and stuff like made sense to me, but like it is kind of
Right.
like a confusing concept, right? She dropped all these fucking bomb things
Yeah.
all over the timeline, and now like the multiverse, in theory, should already be in madness. I
Right,
think.
right. I mean, I think this. You're right. This is a very smart way for Disney and Marvel to get like your average movie viewer kind of on board for what's going on there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, a multiverse is going to make sense to us. We've read
Mm-hmm.
comics. We're very familiar with that high style thing. Like, video games have got us ready for that. I mean, Smash Bros.
Sure.
Is just a multiverse. Um, so I think this will be an interesting series. Like, again, I do not like the animation style. So I will really have to get used to it. Um,
I don't totally hate it, but I'm not totally in love with it either.
I'm trying to think what other series looks like that. I'm trying. I don't even know what like the style animation. It's like
August 11th it comes out.
yeah. Um,
But they must have showed the fucking who's that guy in the background of the space?
The Watcher.
Yeah, they showed him like 3 or 4 times.
Right, because
That's
he's
what makes
gonna.
me think like he's the one that's being like, "Here, audience."
Well, so if you look through like the clips, you kind of see like Doctor Strange talking to the Watcher. So I wonder if this is going to connect that, and the Watcher is going to be like, "This is what's going on." I think even there's some the narration is the Watcher in this trailer, being like,
Right.
"There's other worlds. This is happening. Well, we're asking the question, what if?" Um,
Yeah, because now it's like, as a viewer, you for sure know now that there's other universes.
mm-hmm,
Uh, our characters took place on the sacred timeline, but there are other timelines and other things going on all the time.
exactly.
So now it's like you can kind of see what would have because like yeah we're saying what if but there's no reason to believe that in another world this thing couldn't have actually happened.
Right. Well, because if you're going off the multiverse theory or like string theory or whatever theory you want to go off of here, maybe not every theory, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
You'll like then these if there's infinite possibilities, then like these actually happen in another universe.
Right.
Um. So you're right. Like I think what if it might actually have a bigger part in the MCU than it's making
Yeah,
it
like
seem.
at first glance it's like oh Disney's got a cartoon exploring weird stuff like maybe this could happen but I think like it's by design that it's
Yeah.
coming out when it's coming out right after Loki.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just 2 weeks after Loki, just like Loki came out 2 weeks after Captain Falcon. Like this is the next part of the bridging of the gap that I've been
Yeah.
talking about.
Right. And
Um,
then what comes after this? Hawkeye.
I th- I
Shang-Chi?
think it
I don't
is
even know.
Hawkeye or Shang Chi, and then Black Widow's now in the mix too. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm just saying it makes what is likely to come with Doctor Strange and all this other stuff like a lot more palatable.
Definitely, definitely. I 100% agree with you, and I think that's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
Thanks.
So yeah, yeah, no problem. So yeah, August 11th. So we're gonna have a couple weeks. Actually, that's like four weeks without anything coming out from Marvel. Or is there like movie? There's probably like 3 movies coming out I don't know about or some bullshit.
4 weeks. We got Loki on the 15th, and then I guess it's about 4 weeks.
Got some time. All right, let's move out of this, which, God, I hate to say this. We're still in Disney somehow. Let's talk about the new... Not that I don't want to talk about this next franchise, but I hate that I have to talk about Aliens and say it's connected to Disney. I'm talking about the Aliens franchise, because they own Fox now. So they own Aliens.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, we're not talking about like Disney and the MCU or anything. There is a new Alien TV show coming out, written by Noah Hawley. I'm not quite familiar with that person. And they've come out and said it is not a Ripley story, which I think is totally fine. We don't need any more Ripley stories. I love Ripley as a character, but like, we don't need more. Holy shit! This person wrote Legion and Fargo. I'm in. Really good writer. Both of those shows, from what I've seen, are great. I love Legion. But anyway, so we're getting a new Alien movie. It seems to it's taking place on Earth. So for anyone familiar with the Alien and Aliens franchise, I'm just gonna call it the Alien franchise. Because there's so many of them. There's never really been one set on Earth. It's always usually in space, because I mean that's kind of where your Alien films should take place, because you need the isolation feel to it. Alien films are great. But this one is going to be taking place on Earth, and it seems to have more of a human-based story, and it is more about, I think somewhere on there he said it's going to be, he said something about politics, how it's going to be a little bit more about the politics of Alien and Aliens, which I think is a really good idea, because for those who aren't familiar, like Blade Runner and Alien are kind of in the same universe, and both of those films have a very strong like political stance kind of on like large corporations, like these corporations that rule everything. So it seems like that's what this Alien show is going to be covering more, and with the idea of Wayland Corp bringing the alien back to Earth and how that is bad.
Okay.
So I mean I'm excited for it. It's gonna be on FX, which is usually I can't really say anything bad about FX shows that I can think of.
Everything I've ever seen, like, and watched with intention, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, they're a pretty solid like network. It's Always Sunny is on FX. Fargo is, Legion is. What other FX shows are there?
Wilfred was on FX.
Wilfred was great. What We Do in the Shadows is fantastic. The Strain, I've only seen a couple. I think I only saw season 1, but I really liked that. Sons of Anarchy, never saw, but I know
heard
people
great
talk
things
about
that.
Yeah. Dave, which I've also heard is kind of funny. Rescue Me.
I've heard good things about that too.
Archer. Yeah. Okay. So what we're getting at is it's good. FX is,
high expectations.
FX had The Americans on it. I forgot because I watched that all on Amazon Prime, which The Americans is like one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So good. I'm excited for it. It's kind of nice to see one of these horror franchises being put on FX, because we've had a couple of horror franchise turned TV shows in the past. I know there was like the Scream revival on MTV that I never watched, because it was on MTV, which I mean, weirdly, that makes the most sense to me. It's like Scream being on MTV, they feel very connected to me. But like, I know like the Sci-Fi Channel also had like a lot of like horror TV shows, like the Chucky.
Yeah.
Which I also didn't see. So it should be cool. I'm excited. We'll see.
I'm intrigued. I'll probably watch it.
Intrigued is a good way of putting it. Yeah. Cool. So that's kind of the news. So let's move on to the Loki segment. So last week we watched Loki episode 5. The penultimate episode. This week, today, tomorrow, in 24 hours, and 12 hours. Last episode.
We meet the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Or woman. We meet the entity behind the curtain.
We meet the Loki behind the curtain.
Yeah.
I kind of think it's going to be a Loki at this point. I think it's Loki's all the way down, baby.
I think it could be a Loki. I think it could be Kang. I think Kang could be Loki's Mephisto.
It could be. I see. Okay, this is my thought on it being Kang the Conqueror. What we've seen in the last couple. Oh, well, not in the last couple. In WandaVision and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, is they don't
red
really.
herrings.
Yeah, red herrings first of all, and it doesn't seem like they want to put villains from other movies into these shows.
So you think it's going to be like a self-contained thing? Like they'll find the villain and probably vanquish them?
Possibly. I could be wrong because like we've seen kind of some behind the scenes on these shows. Like originally, Doctor Strange was supposed to be in WandaVision. He was supposed to appear in WandaVision doing the dreams and stuff. Like this is actually a confirmed thing by Kevin Feige. And that was supposed to tie into the Multiverse of Madness, and they got rid of that. So that kind of has me thinking, oh, they don't want to connect those things yet. But I could be wrong. I kind of think it would be really funny if it was a Loki.
Yeah, I don't hate that theory. Like, I think it'd be fine. I just, I don't. I've also toyed around with the idea of another Mobius.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't like big part of me wants to say Kang is the Mephisto of this series.
Yeah, I leaned on that a lot, but it's like also a big part of me wants to think that it is him because like I mean, the Captain America thing went with John Walker and like introduced like a long-term Hydra bad guy potentially.
That is true. That is true.
Like with the Lady Hydra and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it could go either way, right? Like it could be like a Wizard of Oz thing where it is like self-contained. They save the day, TVA dies, they go on their merry way, and that's it. Shitty bad guy goes down. Or like I think it could be the opposite too.
Yeah, the thing is like if Kang is there, like obviously he's not going to lose.
Right. There's no way that just these two Lokis would be able to do that. If anything, I think he would just send them away.
Because they already have an actor for Kang and stuff, and we already have confirmation that he's going to be in the new Ant-Man, Quantumania. Mm-hmm. So, like, we know he's going to be there. When is Ant-Man coming? This is all speculation at this point, which has been for all these shows. We don't know. Yeah. Like you said, red herring.
All over the place.
All over the place. So we don't know. But let's talk about episode 5. This was the Loki episode. We got so many Lokis. We got old Loki. We got Loki who had made his own hammer Loki. We got Crocodile Loki. We got President Loki. We got just Lokis for as far as the eye could see.
Yeah, it was great.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was a fun episode.
It was a lot of fun. I really liked Kid Loki, and I really hope he's back for the Young Avengers.
It seems so. At this point, they've basically mentioned almost all of them. Like the kid was in like young Captain America.
Yeah,
was in
Patriot. Yeah.
Yep. Then
WandaVision.
The two kids were in WandaVision.
Yeah, we got Wiccan and Speed. I think I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
And then Hawkeye. We're getting the daughter.
We're getting Kamala.
Yeah, and Miss Marvel.
So yeah, they're basically setting it up, I think.
Right. So I actually really enjoyed Kid Loki. So
yeah, he seems nice. I like that. I literally, when he said I killed Thor, I literally was like eating dinner and I was like, bitch.
Hell yeah, he doesn't mess around.
Like that set the fucking tone for that character. Yeah. I was like, all right, yeah, cool.
Hell yeah.
You did.
I loved Crocodile, Alligator, Loki, Croaky.
Yeah. Croaky.
What's his face?
Did you see Throg?
I did see Throg, which is Thor funny. Frog. There was a lot of Easter eggs. They put the fucking Thanos copter in it, which is what I was actually so surprised to see that, and I was like, okay.
So a lot of those things seem just kind of like hilarious, but also a lot of them were like things that were pushing me towards thinking it's Kang, but also it's like red herrings. Maybe.
Right. I think a lot of those were just Easter eggs. That's my guess. Is a lot of those were just Easter eggs we're not going to see the Thanos copter again, unfortunately.
Right. But like there was the like Ronan's crashed ship.
Right.
And there was like the Leviathan skeletons and stuff. Like these are like things out of time.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like I don't want to call them like trinkets or something, but
right.
They're also all things pretty specific to like Loki's past. Not Ronan necessarily, but like the Leviathan skeletons. Maybe Ronan. I mean, Ronan also worked for Thanos, who Loki worked
definitely.
for.
But there was like God, what was his Yellow Jacket's helmet? I don't think that really is connected to Loki at all.
No, but again, like out of time or something, right? Like,
right.
And
well,
then
yeah, it was a place out of time.
Right. So it's like that just keeps me thinking about Kang. But also it's like maybe not. I'm excited to see this Wizard of Oz fucking ending where they just go up and move a stupid curtain and it's someone who's like it's Howard the Duck.
I really want it to be like that. I think it would be a great ending to Loki. Is it just
they just look at each other and they're like Howard the Duck.
Exactly. It could even be like a Loki who like doesn't want like a truly evil Loki who doesn't want other Lokis to be good. Because they say glorious purpose so much. I know that's Loki's like catchphrase, but that has to come in somewhere in this last episode.
Yeah,
like
someone who like I've achieved my glorious purpose.
Right, that just sounds like a sacred timeline thing, like glorious purpose.
Yeah.
But who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about episode 5. It didn't really bring us much. No. Like it got us to where we needed to go. It was fun. It had a lot of Easter eggs. Episode. It was a lot of fan service, which
Do you think that we will see Mobius on a jet ski?
I will riot if we don't. That is, I know they've set up so much shit in the past with these shows and failed on it. I will genuinely be fucking pissed if they don't do that. That is like the level of Army of the Dead setting something up and not following through on it. I would actually be mad.
Wow.
100%. 100%. That would be the easiest payoff ever. And if they don't do it, what the fuck? Yeah.
I'm just gonna check on the Discord in the morning and he's gonna be raging.
Exactly. I'll spoil it for everyone if it doesn't happen. I'll be so pissed. Okay, so I do have a question that I was thinking about. It's kind of Loki connected. The reason I say this is the reason I have this question is 1 second real quick. Let me
take your time.
Yeah. I have to remember the name of this actor real quick.
Owen Wilson.
Not Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Mike Coulter, who played Luke Cage. In this week, we got a article that I didn't include in the news that was saying that he was disappointed that he never got a end to Luke Cage. Which I agree with. Like, it ended with him becoming, spoilers, like the pretty much what Cottonmouth was. Like, he was the owner of the club in Harlem, kind of like the main guy.
Mm-hmm.
That does not feel like a satisfying ending for Luke Cage. But my question is thinking about it, because this week we also got James Gunn, I think it was James Gunn, and someone else saying that none of those shows are canon, which I think we've known that for a bit. My question is, if you had to go back, and this goes out to you, Shane, and chat, if you had to pick between these new shows being canon or the old Netflix shows to be canon, or even existing, at this point could you say which one you would rather have? Like, would you rather have the Netflix shows or would you rather have the Disney Plus shows?
I don't know why I can't have both.
I know, I'm saying this is a hypothetical question, like right now, if you had to choose.
I guess I'd want the Disney ones because of continuity purposes.
See, I'm on the opposite spectrum. I loved the Netflix shows.
I really did too.
I think the reason is because they all had, well, not all of them, but some of them had endings. Like Daredevil season 1 like was a complete story.
That's true. Did you watch all 3 seasons?
I did, and I really liked season 3 of Daredevil, and
it all felt complete, I thought.
Yeah, they could have gone season 4, and I don't feel that with these series. Like, will I have a reason to watch all of WandaVision or Loki or Falcon and the Winter Soldier like a couple years from now? other than to be like, oh, I'm catching up on all the like the Marvel universe. Like
Right.
I could see myself watching Daredevil again because I know I'm going to get a complete story there.
Sure.
But I don't see myself watching Loki all the way through again because I know it's leading into something. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying
Right.
I kind of wish that the Netflix show that I like they kind of like I would love Loki, the same style Loki in the sense of like a Netflix show.
Right. I
And
just
also
don't understand why, like,
why they can't be canon.
yeah, like, I
Me
mean,
too.
they're all characters that haven't been used yet. They haven't been cast yet, and their stories are pretty much incomplete. So, like, why couldn't you
Exactly.
just keep the same cast and keep their stories canon because it's too gruesome for Disney? They were cool stories, and this way you don't have to
Exactly.
do a fucking introduction. You tell the world, hey, listen, John Bernthal is showing up as the Punisher in this new Spider-Man movie. Get
Yeah.
hype. And then people will be like, oh shit, and they'll go watch the Netflix show, and then you don't have to worry about an introduction to this character. It's already done in a cool way.
I completely agree. I think them making those films, meaning those shows, not canon is a waste because those were genuinely good shows. I know a lot of people didn't like Iron Fist, and to an extent, some people didn't like Luke Cage. But like, even if you disregard those two shows, which I still like those shows, you still have Jessica Jones, Punisher, and Daredevil, which 3 shows that can stand on their own.
Those are the three that I like the most and
Yeah,
watched all of. I thought they were amazing.
yeah,
But like, you're telling me that these five like pieces that are pretty awesome, and
yeah,
that all led into this Defenders thing, which could bridge perfectly into like your Young Avengers world
definitely.
that's going on. Like having them seek guidance from like the older Hell's Kitchen people. That seems like so perfect. Um, Now I lost my train of thought because I was all hype about that. Uh, yeah, I don't know. You're right. It just seems like a waste. They just did so well with it,
Yeah, I
and
just
now it's like they're gonna probably I heard that Charlie Cox was gonna be in She-Hulk or some shit.
I see. I think that was just speculation because I'm even looking at this thing from 2019 with Kevin Feige saying previous MCU TV shows aren't part of canon.
But like Agents of Shield is canon.
No, I don't even think that is anymore.
Uh,
Which is crazy
so
because like Agents of Shield and stuff referenced the movies.
yeah, and well, they reference the movies in the Netflix shows too.
That is true. The Battle of New York.
Yep, and that's so weird because like even Phil Coulson was like the main part of Agents of Shield. So you're telling me that canon now is that he's dead, and none of that happened?
Yeah, I think they're wasting potential. I think those shows were great. I think that I think eventually Marvel has to make another TV series that is self-contained like that.
I think that this might be because of other shit, right? Like the Agents of Shield show introduced a bunch of bad guys,
Mm-hmm.
like Absorbing Man, and it had like
That Ghost Rider in
Quake
it.
in it, and Ghost Rider. Like Quake's not a bad guy, but you know
Right,
she
and
was
Ghost
in it
Rider
as
isn't
well.
either. Well, Ghost Rider is an
Right.
anti-hero, but yeah.
And then there was enemies like bad guys all over the place in the Netflix shows. So it's like
Yeah, you
I
had
feel like maybe they just want to like redo all this stuff. It's like a big money pit. Like they're just more bad guys for people to fight down the way. Because like George St. Pierre's character in Captain America came back after like 18 movies later. He was in like the first, second Captain America movies.
yeah, that is true.
uh, Batroc the Leaper, a classic beat 'em up bad guy that would show up just to get his shit rocked in like
Yeah,
most of the cartoons and stuff. Like maybe they're just looking to get their beat 'em up bad guys back, like Absorbing Man and
the hand. The hand was
yeah, like
sweet though. I don't like. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm always gonna be disappointed about that.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that decision.
And
And
I
why
wouldn't.
wouldn't you recast or cast them the same? Like bring them back. They did
Right.
such a good job. Even if you're not going to keep the material the same, like having the same actors would be
I
cool. But then
honestly can't
the
think of
implication,
a better Daredevil than Charlie Cox. Like
he's so good.
he's
I guess
so
if you
good in
keep
it.
the same actors though, like there's always the implication, right? That
Right, exactly.
maybe it's canon, even though it's not.
And the craziest thing is they're doing a multiverse right now. like why I wouldn't be having like such a like bringing this up as much like if we don't have like main people in the Marvel like MCU like producers and stuff saying like it's not canon, like well, you could have just not said that and just like
Right.
use them whenever, but you're like cutting off that bridge, which just sucks.
Yeah, I think that they should have just used this multiverse idea to consolidate all of their Marvel properties
yeah,
under one
definitely,
roof, like
definitely,
with Venom and everything, and like.
and
But it
maybe they
seems
will,
like
but who knows? Yeah,
that's gonna happen a little bit, maybe like with Venom,
yeah.
because of like not Mobius, Morbius.
And like yeah, like what Venom appeared in like one, not Venom.
Spider-Man was on a wall in Morbius,
Yeah,
so it's like maybe with stuff like that, but not definitely not with the Netflix shows and stuff, and that's a big bummer.
definitely. Yeah. So anyway, that's just what I was thinking because like I watched Loki and then I saw like I think it was James Gunn who said it, which I don't even know why he was talking about it to be honest, but he was, and I was just like, damn, that sucks because those shows like I think without those shows, like I honestly don't like the MCU would have still done well, but I think those shows had a really an effect on people which could show like the MCU could be a little bit more serious.
Yeah, and it kept me like into superheroes in between movies.
Exactly. I kind of I watch those shows to be like, ooh, maybe they'll reference the
Yeah,
other universe, but then we also got great shows, so it's like
right.
okay. But yeah, so Loki. That was a weird tangent. Let's go back to Loki. That was episode 5. Episode 6 tonight. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it's big. I really hope it's a big explosion. It hopefully
Laser fights.
oh my god. So talking about the Emmys a bit. The Marvel
What?
show, the Emmys, okay, just because all the Marvel shows so far have been getting so many nominations.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
insane.
saw that.
Don Cheadle got one for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. First 3 minutes being in, and he literally said, why? He's like, why am I being included in this? It's kind of insane how many nominations Marvel is getting for these, which makes me just realize how stupid the Emmys are. Like, why the fuck?
What? Oh, why can't I think of his fucking name? Paul Bettany got one for his role in WandaVision.
Like, that's the only one I think I would. And maybe like Elizabeth Olsen, like was
really
also
like
pretty good
Vision.
in it.
I think Paul Bettany's always done a good job as Vision.
Yeah, I don't know. It just I don't think any of these shows. I don't know if any of them were nominated for best show, but I really don't think they should do that. I mean, I think some of the acting was good enough to be nominated for some things, but
I would put the first season of Daredevil up against like any of these though for awards.
Oh, absolutely. I think I like genuinely think the first season of Daredevil on its own is a great show.
Fantastic. The third season was fantastic as well.
The ending of the season 3 is one of the best endings of a season.
That whole season. I mean,
yeah.
The thing that kind of sucked for me, I think, was that I started watching it and I was like, "Damn, what the fuck is going on?" I had to go back and watch The Defenders.
Right. That's such a Marvel problem. Is they connect everything. It's like what?
Yeah. So, but that season was so cool, like just from beginning to end. After watching The Defenders, after understanding what the fuck was going on at the beginning of the show, it was right. Really good.
And I think, oh God, if we're talking about this, I think the biggest loss, if we're like that, and the MCU is gonna get is losing Wilson Fisk, is Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. I don't think anyone can play him better. Easy. No, like there's no one who could play him better. And I know he really wanted to be back in the MCU, and like losing him was like him as a villain was one of the greatest villains in Marvel. All the greatest. Like I would argue that he's probably one of the top Marvel villains we've seen on screen.
I mean, he's fantastic.
Yeah,
like so truly fantastic.
Yeah,
I like. All right. I like that show a lot.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully Loki episode 6 doesn't get hit with WandaVision episode, the last episode.
Hopefully it doesn't get hit by a flying WandaVision.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it actually Hopefully it ends well. So far, it's been great. I hope it doesn't. I hope it lands its final flip.
You know? What if it is Wanda?
And then they shoot lightning bolts at each other.
I am not a witch. Pew, 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 pew.
We're magical people, but we're gonna shoot laser beams at each other for some stupid. I'm great. Let's move on to the movie of the week. Hi everyone.
Hello.
We
it's just me, man.
It's just you. Hi everyone. All right. So that was the news segment. If you guys let us know what you guys thought in the comments in YouTube or on the, I don't know if Spotify has comments. Let us know what you think about the MCU and what's gonna go on with it in the future. But we are about to talk about the movie of the week. This week we watched the French. Oh God, how do I want to describe this film? The French. The vignette. Yes, a vignette of a man in the future after World War III. We're talking about the sci-fi experimental French film called Jetee, which for those who don't know what Jetee means like the pier. It's a description of like a place you like walk out onto to get onto a like plane. God, what is the actual translation? God, it's a pier. It's a pier. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a pier. So it means the pier. So this is a one of my favorite films of all time. Shane, I think this was your first time watching it, right?
Yeah. Did any part of you think that I had watched this ever in my life?
No, I don't know. This is like actually one of the more like surprisingly
super popular.
It's one of the most popular experimental films. So it's not like that doesn't mean shit though. It's like being the most popular like band kid, which no offense if you're a band kid, but
I was a band kid.
That was a weird shade to throw right by me. I sat in the corner by myself. Never mind.
And I wasn't trying to be condescending about the movie either. It's just I had definitely never heard of
it. Right. This isn't like this is not a film that I expect like everyone to have seen or like, but it is like a popular experimental film. But yeah, so this was your first time watching it. This is probably my 30 billionth time watching it. Yeah, so let me start by describing what the story is. And then we can talk about our thoughts on it. So Jetee is filmed by Chris Marker, who is a pretty well-known experimental filmmaker. If you are into experimental films, he's made a couple pretty big ones. He also wrote for 12 Monkeys, which is an adaptation of this story. He also did Sans Soleil, which is a really great film. I recommend. But yeah, this came out. I decided to do this film because I think it's a good contrast to last week's film, which was 2001: A Space Odyssey. 2001: A Space Odyssey was this film about humanity and this very like macro lens of what is going on, and I think Jetee is a very personal film about humanity in its own sense. So this is the story of a man forced to explore his memories in the wake of World War III's devastation, told through still images. So this film is all still images except for 5 seconds in this like 3/4 through. But it is yes.
I fucking knew I wasn't losing my mind.
We'll talk about that part. Also, hey Watershed, how's it going? So this film is about a prisoner. After World War III, most of the world is in ruin. It takes place in the catacombs under Paris. The people surviving under Paris, he's a prisoner too, because the Germans took over France. They believe that their only way of survival is through time travel. And the only way to really do time travel in this film is you have to find someone who has a very strong memory of the past. And our main character has a very strong memory of being on a jetty, on a pier, seeing this very beautiful woman's face and watching a man die. So he is a prime candidate. This entire story goes throughout. It's only 28 minutes long. It explores him time traveling back in the past, meeting this woman. It's also it's a romance film about him and this woman. At the same time, these it's like almost torture doing this time travel. He keeps going back in time further and further. Eventually, he goes to the future because that was the main plan. He gets a way to bring back humanity with like this resource generator. And then we end with the man having a choice to either go back to the past or go to the future. From the future, people are like, we can save you because he's a prisoner of war. He was going to get killed. He goes back into the past to see the woman. In this really roundabout way, the memory that he has remembered so well that can bring him into the past, let him time travel, is, like I said, the memory of him on the pier, seeing the woman's face and watching a man die. Twist ending, the man who dies is himself.
Joke's on you, idiot.
How dare you time travel?
Don't fuck with time. That's the moral of the story.
What do I think of Oculus Quest 2? I don't think I don't know if I've seen that. Is that similar to this? I'll have to check that out too. Check that out. Oh, it's never mind. It's the new VR. I don't know. I don't know too much about VR, to be honest. But anyway, so this was your first time watching it, Shane. I know this film kind of is. It's like nothing we've watched before. 99% of this film is still images with narration over it. The narration is in French, so you have to watch it with subtitles on. It has this really scratching and jarring soundtrack, which I would compare to 2001. It has all like this classical type style chorus to it. And yeah, what are your thoughts as a brand new viewer, never seen this film before?
I immediately knew that I needed to pay attention.
Yes.
Which was fine. You know, I enjoy film, so I don't mind like actually having to be like an active viewer. I normally am for these podcast films anyway.
Right.
But it was like especially so because
you definitely have to pay attention to this film.
It was in French. There was pictures. A picture tells 1,000 words, and there was many pictures. So,
exactly.
I was just trying to stay on track, and now after like listening to your description of the story, I'm glad that I pretty much nailed it.
Yeah.
Especially because like I think there was at least one sentence that I missed, and I had to like roll back and read again.
Yeah, I had to rewatch it a couple times, like to like be like, okay, because like the narration is very poetic too.
Yes, it has like an ionic pentameter.
Yeah,
he speaks with a rhythm.
Exactly. Like, this is one of the quotes. It's one of my favorite quotes from it. Where it's describing the man going and doing the time travel test. It's they begin again. The man doesn't die, nor does he go mad. He suffers. They continue. Like, that's very a poetic way of saying they're continuing on with the tests.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, I didn't hate it. You know, it's just a different thing. I could understand how like, you know, films like this aren't for everybody. Not everybody's gonna love something like this. But like, this is stuff I like. I like to watch things that people don't like, and I like to watch experimental stuff and weird things and stuff that makes me think. So it was interesting. I definitely 100% thought I was going crazy at one point because
so let's talk about that part.
Yeah, you said it was all pictures last week, and I just kind of was like, all pictures. The Captain Literal. Like, do you remember that show, All That?
Yeah,
They had that family, the Literals, and like everything that got said to them, they just took it absolutely literally. Yeah, you said that, and I was like, every single piece of this is going to be a picture. And then the credits rolled, and I was like, okay, this isn't a picture. But then anyway, it got to that part where the lady was like sleeping. Is this the right part?
That's the dream part. That's the part. Yeah, I whenever I recommend this movie to everyone, I never tell them about that part. Because I think it's a very important part and a very jarring part because it does so let me describe this part to everyone. So about I want to say 3/4 through the parts of the movie, kind of near the climax, our character has gone back in time enough to meet this woman that they have I would consider it a romantic relationship. He's watching her sleep, and during that time, let me see if I can find the actual narration from that part. It's pretty much discussing Let's see. No, 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 no. I'll keep looking, but I can't find it. But I can't find it right now. But this part of the film is him kind of, well, the narrator discussing, because we don't really get his thoughts. It's the narrator. The narrator is not our main character. The narrator is this external force. We never actually get dialogue from anyone in the movie. We hear some people speaking in German, but it's purposely there is no subtitles for them, so we don't know what they're talking about. Unless you know German, then you know what they're talking about. I don't know what they're talking about. But anyway,
I knew a little bit, but nothing specific. Just the counting. That was the only part.
Oh yeah, I knew. Yeah, they were counting down. That's the only part of German I knew. Anyway, this is the part of the film where the narrator is asking the question: is this all a dream? Kind of like, is this how he's coping with the apocalypse, World War III, and all this stuff, or is this real? And at the same time, on screen, we're getting all these still frames of this woman sleeping, and she's like turning over, and like you notice that like the pictures are getting closer in time to each other, and then there's a good 3 to 5 seconds where she actually blinks, and it is a very jarring part of the film because none of it's a film. It's all still photographs, so there's no movement. And at the same time, the film is posing the question: is this all a dream? We get that shot,
which is not a photograph.
No, not a photograph at all. And it is really jarring. It's like, whoa, wait, what? And it really puts the emphasis on this kind of this weird time travel thing, because that's the thing about this film I like, and I like this is a thing in general about time travel films, is I like when they don't describe it to me. They don't tell me how it works.
Yeah.
Because once you start trying to explain time travel, you have to like explain so many things away.
This is true.
So this is a very abstract way of describing time travel and going through time, which again, that's why I wanted to watch this film after we watched 2001, because 2001 also does this really abstract experimental way of describing passage of time. But yeah, so yeah, shortest film we've watched so far.
Yeah. I think I might put us on a long one.
Hell yeah. Like I guess I can talk about this film from my perspective. This is one of my favorite films of all time. It was the film that I watched freshman year of college that really made me want to go into experimental filmmaking, just because just the idea of using still images and narration and still having such a compelling story. And even the images are very compelling. Like, it's crazy because Chris Marker wanted to also play, when we talk about experimental films, we have to talk about like all these different like small things that happen in it and kind of what it means, and we're not going to talk about them all here. But this was also kind of Chris Marker playing around with the idea of film, because filmmaking and film is literally just photographs in time. You're just moving photographs very fast. That is what filmmaking is. That's why there's 24 frames per second. It's just 24 photographs per second. And you get, it's the illusion of movement, the illusion of time. That is what filmmaking creates. So with Chris Marker doing it, what he did here was still images, still making it a film with narration, and it's also a film about time travel. So it's kind of like this meta thing about like time and filmmaking, and then it's this personal story about this man and love and kind of how you deal with apocalypse. And then like at a like even larger level, this film is also about humanity, because it's this man who watches his own death, doesn't know it, comes back, and eventually he realizes that the person he watched die was him, so he watches his own death, which can be compared to the World War III thing happening, having like humanity being its own killer, and in the end we'll only look back and see that we were the ones who killed ourselves. There's a lot of stuff going on in this film. But yeah, also the soundtrack, super, super creepy.
Yes, very unnerving.
Like it's like looking over the first couple minutes when it's like describes the chaos of World War III and how there's radiation everywhere, and it's just like showing the destruction of Paris, and it just has that choir over it, is like actually bone chilling.
I didn't like when they were talking about the World War III, and it was the jet sounds over the plane or
Yeah.
over the jetty.
Yes, over the pier. Yes, exactly. And kind of on a side note, I did say like bonus homework to watch 12 Monkeys. Shane and I both didn't watch it. Um, but 12 Monkeys is based off of this film. Chris Marker actually helped Tyrion Gilliam write 12 Monkeys. So if you've seen 12 Monkeys, you've just seen a more Hollywood action story version of this film. And that one kind of doesn't really it's still about like World War theory. I'm trying to remember from memory, but it's about like a virus that came from monkeys. 12 Monkeys. There's also a TV show I haven't seen. But yeah, let's get to ruining this one of my favorite movies. Shane Smash. So let's talk about first break down what this film needs. It needs to be experimental. It needs to. I think keep it with still. Actually, I don't know how we're ruining it, so I can't say. We might get something like daylight, like soap opera or something, which I don't know if we can do.
Yeah.
So it has to be a film about time travel. It has to be kind of abstract in that sense. So we're not getting into the hard science. We're not doing kind of like the Interstellar thing, where like Interstellar
story told through narration.
Yes, story told through narration. No, all dialogue is incidental, and when I say that, that means when someone talks about incidental dialogue in film, it means like none of the dialogue was like meant to push the story forward. It's kind of just dialogue that's happening in the background, like the German people speaking. We don't really know what it means. It could add to the story, but it really doesn't. I think the soundtrack. The thing about this film too is like all the actors and actresses are like kind of like no names. I like I'm on IMDb. Like I think these like most of these people like this was their one role. Like, which is you get that a lot with experimental filmmaking because there's not the budget for it. It has to be a short film. I think like 28 minutes, 20 to 40 minutes, and that's the thing about this film too, and short films in general, which I hope we watch more of in the future. Is it kind of really shows you that you don't need really long films to tell a story.
Yeah, no, this is a very compelling story with a very short runtime. I thoroughly enjoyed what happened here, and it didn't take a very long time.
Right. I don't think I think adding on to like making this longer would have just did it a disservice. It did everything it needed to in 28 minutes. All right, yeah, let's see how we're ruining this movie. Again, for anyone listening in the future, first of all, how are you time traveling? What the hell? Is podcasting just time traveling?
Maybe.
Second, you can go to our Discord, which no one voted on right now. Oh, actually, no one voted for prequel, sequel, or remake, but we do get that this is a fantasy remake. So that's something we can work with. Let's do fantasy remake of Jetee. So a time traveling short that is no longer sci-fi, but is now fantasy. With narration over it, we could keep it experimental. We could even do it in like paintings instead of photographs. That would be kind of cool.
I like the idea of like old time fantasy told through paintings.
Yeah, kind of like we could like change Jetee instead of it being like film, it'd be like animation, because animation again is just a bunch of drawings moving really fast in front of your eyes to create the illusion of movement.
Right.
But like paintings, like old school, like tapestries.
Mm-hmm.
You could really remove the science fiction aspect of time travel here and make it magic.
Yeah, like, there's a bad wizard.
Yeah, there's
evil wizard in a tower, busy creating a Cerberus or something.
Exactly.
Some D&D monster in the monster manual that an angry wizard creates.
Yeah, and like it could have World War III could have happened in this fantasy land, except it's not World War III. There's just a plague instead of nukes. It's just like this crazy plague a warlock created. And this one person who he could still even be a prisoner or like just like a villager. Like the mages could be sending him back in time to try to find a cure. But he falls in love with a fair maiden. But it's all through painted tapestry.
Yeah.
Just single shots of tapestries. That actually sounds pretty fucking sweet, actually.
Sounds cool.
Like, I would watch the hell of this.
Does he, like, get to be with his fair maiden, or does he get sucked back through time and have to, like,
Do we?
Do the tapestries just end with like a burned tapestry?
Oh, what if it's okay? So what if it's like, because like the tapestry, like you can do the kind of like a Morbius strip with it. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what if if we're going to do the Jetee thing, like the first thing we see in Jetee is like the memory of the woman and then the guy dying.
Yeah, yeah.
Which that's the same shot that we end on with. You see the woman and then you realize the guy dying from the beginning, which his memory is him dying, which is crazy concept. Yeah, maybe because how tapestry is like if we do like the Morbius stick like strip thing, like they're connected in the end. Like maybe the first image we see is like this villager running forward and there's like a sword behind him, like just poking out, and then we find out like the person who has to kill the past self is like himself or something, or we see like a dead person laying there, and maybe the warlock goes back and kills him.
I think you just see a dead person on the ground, but you don't see their face.
Yes.
And then in the next frame, you see our hero.
Yes.
Just doing whatever he's doing. Maybe leaving church. Doing something nice.
Yeah, and then the plague hits. Then you see like a bunch of like people like kind of doing the Scream face, not the Scream movie, but like the Scream painting. Doing that face, and the plague happening, and then you see him like in a cage is the next frame, and then you see a bunch of wizards with their pointy hats, and he's like on a table chained up, and they're pouring potions in his mouth, and then like we kind of get like a repeat of like, I don't know how you'd show back in time. Well, we have narration.
Spiral. Yeah,
that is true. Yeah, a spiral painting.
How the portal looked in like like between Army of Darkness and
yeah, that like swirly. Yeah.
It looked like a painted portal put in a movie.
Yes, exactly. I mean, yeah, definitely. He goes back in time. He has to do the same memory thing that he has to do in Jetee, where it's like you have to like become strong enough with a test with your memory to like keep going back in time. He falls in love with this fair maiden over and over again. There's one part of animation, same pretty much frame for frame.
Yeah.
He goes back. He goes to the future, which is just more wizards. The wizards gave him a magic spell to go back and kind of like replenish the world from the plague. He gets the same option. Does he want to go into the future with the better world, or does he want to go back and see the fair maiden? Which that's kind of a big part of Jetee too, is like he gets the choice. Does he want to live in a future without this woman? And then
chooses the future. He goes through with it, ages so rapidly that he just decrepitly falls and dies with his face away from the tapestry.
Yes, well, he would have to go back in the past, fall in love with that woman, and then die of old age. Die.
Sure, yeah.
And then it would be him. Yeah, because then that'd be the whole like cycle, like
the life cycle.
What if okay, hear me out here. What if his dead body, because he is from the past with the plague, had the plague in it, and when he dies, that starts the whole plague, which starts his story from going, wait, it's a cool ass story we just wrote.
He thinks he's a good guy because he's going to church and stuff, but really he's carrying this virus.
Exactly, and when he dies, it gets released, which starts the plague, which starts the wizards from finding him to send him back in time, which he does. He goes back in time at the end of Get with the Fair Maiden. He still has the plague in him. He dies. Repeat.
Yes. The cycle must be broken. Incoming adventuring party at level 3.
Yeah, and it's in French. So what are we calling it? What's the castle in French? Or no, the ooh, yeah. Actually, what's the church? Because we put emphasis on church in French. Is church a French word?
I don't know.
French. Oh god, I don't know how to say it. Iglesi?
I don't know.
Let's see if there's a word I can pronounce in French better. Oh, we'll call it the temple because temple in English is French.
Oh,
English, everyone. We steal words from everyone else. The temple, la temple. Boom. I would watch the hell out of that film. That sounds like a sweet ass film.
Yeah,
time travel, everyone. Movie ruined by not really. Movie made better. Not made better, but different movie. Would watch. Boom.
Yeah,
there we did.
Thanks for your help,
La Temple.
audience.
Yeah. Whoever voted for fantasy, you're great. Thank you.
Good on you.
All right. What are we watching next week, Shane?
Oh, well, I was having a hard time deciding.
Okay.
I kind of landed on one, but
Okay.
then you were talking about like time travel and humanity and all this stuff. So I was thinking Interstellar.
Okay.
I think it'll be an interesting journey to go from 2001 to Le Jet to Interstellar. We're doing our own rubber band style time traveling.
Yeah, we're doing our. Well, yeah, we start with the influence. We start with the original, then we get to the influence. I'm down for it. I like it.
Cool.
I've said in the past it's not my favorite film, but I don't hate watching it.
Interstellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that it's not, and I just kind of landed on it because of the themes that we've explored.
No, like I said, it's not my favorite film, but like I have no problem watching it again.
Perfect. It was either that or I was thinking about Hated in the Nation, but that did just not. It just didn't jive with what we've been talking about.
Yeah, that's also a film that I've not seen.
It's
Black Mirror. It's Black Mirror. Yeah.
But nice. Yeah, it didn't. It just didn't jive. Maybe next time.
Fair enough.
We've been doing these trifectas of films.
Yeah, I mean, Interstellar makes sense because every other time travel movie I could think of is like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or the ones that are insanely complicated.
I didn't want to do like The Time Machine because I mean, it's good, but the movie adaptation of the book isn't everything I wanted it to be.
I've never read the book, but yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Interstellar next week, everybody. Get ready to sit down for 2.5 hours.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, that is the episode, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the news. I hope you enjoyed our ruining of Le Jetee. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. But before we get out of here, let's do some plugs. Shane, what do you got going on?
I'm Shane. You can catch me live at twitch.tv/bringtheshane. I do other gaming things, and I have a hardcore Minecraft world that I run on Fridays. Come check it out. We're fun people.
Hell yeah. You can find me here on Monday and Tuesday, so doing Dummies Play. Thank you for that subscription, Shane. Mondays I do Dummies Play with Shane. We're currently playing through the Sea of Thieves It's a Pirate's Life for me expansion. We have the last Tall Tale. We're probably going to be finishing that up next week. Tuesdays, you know what I'm here for. This podcast. You can go to my YouTube, which is Farm Goat Plays, though. I just hit 100 subscribers. I am actively uploading gameplay and all that kind of fun stuff to that channel, so go check that out. You can find all of the Ruining Movies stuff at Ruining Movies at YouTube. And yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys are having a good summer. I know it's a weird summer. Everything's kind of opening up, but everything's not opening up, and the storms are ravaging everywhere.
Sun is out. What a day.
Yeah, what a day. Also, we play games after these podcasts, so we're gonna play Valorant. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.
On Valorant?
I don't know. We'll
figure it out. I thought we were going to escape from Tarkov.
Yeah, get out of here. All right. Bye, everyone. Be excellent to each other. Peace.
Bye.